My people, it's about that time.
Like a boss.
Live from the USA, helping you get paid every day. This is the boss of Bitcoin, the Cristo of crypto. It's your boy BK. And if you don't like me, you must not like money. Thank you for joining me, everybody. Today we will be doing another live update on Bitcoin, what's going on with the price, what's going to happen next, and most importantly, how you can profit as a result. So if this is your first time tuning in, congratulations, baby. You are now rocking with the best. My name is BK, also known as the Crypto Trader, and I'm the boss of these charts, as you will soon find out. Every day I grace this microphone with my voice is another day you can profit as a result. Today is no exception. So if you haven't done it already, hit that like button. Let YouTube know this is indeed valuable content and help me get the word out to the good people. My name is Brandon Kelly, and my goal, my job is to help as many people make as much money as possible in this new thing called Bitcoin. So without further ado, let's make it do what it do. Let's go ahead and make this money. Here we go. BTC to the USD on a 3D. This is a 3-day chart. What does that mean? That means every candle, right? Buyers and sellers, greed and fear. Every candle represents 3 days. Now, when you take it and you scale it out, right around here is where the boy BK came on the air and started telling people y'all need to look at this thing called Bitcoin. You know what I'm saying? Like, I learned about Wall Street, I learned about stocks, I learned about MACDs, fast stochastics, but they got this thing called blockchain technology, and I think it can make some money. And that's when I started doing videos. So, in essence, here we are now at around 55,000. On the last sell-off, 54,000. Is really not that bad. And it's not a bad trend at all. Like, I'm yet to see Bitcoin on a multi-year downturn, on a recession. You know what I'm saying? Can Bitcoin go in a recession? That's going to be the question for our lifetime. Like, in my lifetime, it probably won't. Because it's crazy. It's like, it's the world's most perfect money, and it's beautiful. It's an innovation of the ages, right? But because it is tied to numeric value, we're able to measure it, we're able to correlate it, and we're able to dance on it like Diddy when it comes to these charts, right? If we wanted to look at a long-term support, right? Like, how low can Bitcoin go? Really, the simplest way to do that would be to do a low to low. Right here, and again, this is a 3-day, so this is multi-year, energy. You can't get out of this in a tweet from CBN. Like, this is already baked into the charts. It is what it is. This is the essence, the macro of Bitcoin, right? Take a low to low, Fibonacci on top of that, and this is our flux zone, right? Right here. Essentially, this is the lowest that Bitcoin can realistically go on this cycle, right? Probably until 2026, right? Now, if it really wanted to test it and sell off, like, that's probably around the area, that you would see it happen. And that's still another 9 months away. So that's crazy. Let's not even talk about that, right? But this is really where you start to look at support. Another reason this holds true is because the top of that line, just like I said, we're at 54,000 right now. The top of that gray area, 39,000, that's where the whales peaked out last time at buying it. But that's essentially coming on the way down. That's where they'll start to buy it back. That's when, you get M2 money coming into the markets because they understand what Bitcoin is. They understand where it will be 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 100 years from now. and they're quite comfortable trading 40,000 worthless fiat dollars for one invaluable Bitcoin. You see what I'm saying? So this is kind of like a long-term worst case scenario, low to low. How low can it go? You know, because a lot of people, you know, they want to know, how low can it go? Can it go back down to zero? Well, nope, because I'm not selling mine. How about that? But, you know, it can go pretty low, down, you know, in the mid 40s, as low as, you know, high 30s. But after it hits that, then it's going to get bought back up pretty quick, and then it'll have to balance out. I'm not saying it's going to do that. I just wanted to give you the absolute worst case scenario. And again, if you find this content valuable, hit that thumbs up button. I most certainly do appreciate each and every one of you. One of the things we also have to be cognizant of is that there are other financial markets out there that can be absorbing some of the liquidity that Bitcoin has recently lost. I say all that to say this. Water is energy, is currency, is the current of the sea, is water. You see what I'm saying? And it all follows the law of the conservation of energy. Just replace energy with water, and the law stays the same. The equation stays the same. What's the equation of the law of the conservation of energy? Energy cannot be created or destroyed. It merely transforms from one form to another, right? But when you really think about it, right? We got this beautiful thing called the water cycle, right? And what it teaches us is that water cannot be created or destroyed. It merely transforms from one form to another, right? And this is one of the most powerful insights I've had along this journey, is to begin to correlate that which we may be uncertain about to that which we are quite certain of, right? Water follows basic principles, basic charts. It has molarity, polarity. You know, you can measure it, you can stretch it, you can burn it. Can't necessarily burn it, because once it gets too hot, it just kind of changes forms, right? Bitcoin right now has a dilemma where some of the money is going into more speculative ventures. And I'll call Wall Street speculative at this point, because some people are taking their money out of crypto and putting it back in Wall Street. Wall Street actually has one of the biggest runs that it's had in recent times, right? This is from Bloomberg 2 hours ago. Bitcoin sank for the fourth consecutive trading session as part of a wider crypto sell-off that contrasts with recent highs in global stocks, right? It's a parity. Bitcoin's going down, stocks going up, right? Crypto speculators currently face a range of challenges, including waning demand for the U.S. Bitcoin traded ETFs, signs that government are disposing of seized tokens, there you go, and hard to parse impact of U.S. political flux. This is what I think the real elephant in the room is. Mt. Gox just sent back a lot of that money that they had locked up from when their exchange got hacked by the government. Wasn't it the government? Didn't they say it was the government? Or is that just on a need to know? That might be on need to know. Okay, they found them. So these are the patsies. My apologies. On top of that, people don't realize the government is the number one holder of Bitcoin, point blank, period. So it's like, you know, it might as well be the digital dollar of the future, you know, unspecified, because the government is the number one holder. U.S. government have more Bitcoin than anybody else in the world. And so this Mt. Gox money just got released, and if you had your money locked up for 10 years and all of a sudden somebody gave it to you, you probably would go spend it. So that's what we see happening. 2.8 billion on the negative side is what we can anticipate from that transition, right? But it's very, very interesting. I think, when you look at the commodities and the other alternatives, like you have healthcare, you have technology, you got stock markets, you got, ETFs, you got oil, gold, you got precious metals, you got real estate. These are available sources, alternatives, in addition to Bitcoin. Cryptocurrency is just one small facet of, investment opportunity. There are many other ventures that have been tenured, time tested, whereas Bitcoin is brand new. A lot of these, trillion-dollar companies are reluctant to jump in on it because they still don't really, have the wherewithal to grasp the opportunity. As I told you, I came on this channel in the wee days of 2017 and recognized what it was. So this is indeed a paradigm shift. This is the greatest transformation of wealth in the history of humanity. And, it's only 55,000, right? On a 3-day chart, it's really not that bad. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to jump in on a 343 and look up under the hood of this thing to see what's happening long term. Again, this is going back to March 23 right there. That's basically when Bitcoin kind of started this epic rally, right? So if we take that, boom, right? This is basically the capstone, 4.6 to 4.2, 75K. We fell through the 3.2. This is kind of like a double fail, right? So that's not great. We do have this area right there that we can start to catch on. That's down at 52,000. But again, more than likely, this thing is going to go down to 45, I think, is the next number you want to look at. It can easily, do something like that. More than likely, it's going to keep going down. You got a little hook right there. I don't think it's enough to save an entire trend reversal. So now you start to look for the next feasible section that this chart wants to aggregate towards. And so that's going to be right around there. And that's at 41K. That's cheap. Goodness. I hope it go down to 41. Let me buy more on retail. More than likely this thing is going to level off here at 52. It's not going to do it all at once. If it goes down there, it's definitely not going to be a step down. It'll have to bounce at some point. So it'll do something like that, right? Maybe go up and reconfirm that as a ceiling before you see another sell-off like that. So we're still looking into, this chart is going down to September for this pattern. If it moves all the way out there to look at fulfilling, right? That's October. So this would be actually November. Black Friday. For whatever reason, the holidays are not a particularly favorable time for Bitcoin. I think that's because, the powers that be understand that people go and congregate and they sit around Thanksgiving table, and talk about what's new in their life. And cryptocurrency has been the topic of many discussions as of late. I remember telling my people when Bitcoin was like 2,000. Then I told them when it was 6,000. After they ain't buy nothing at 6, I just stopped talking about it. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, well, shit, I could lead a horse to water, But damn horse got to be thirsty. Some of these horses ain't thirsty. They don't know what's going on. So I'm like, well, let me talk to the horses that's willing to listen. This is an endless lake of prosperity that we can all drink at, right? Called decentralized finance. It's quite amazing. And it's just a drop in the bucket. What is the global GDP, right? Global GDP. $86 trillion. They don't want me to see it, but you see it right there. $86 trillion. Right? Crazy. There you go right there. In 2029, the projected global GDP, $139 trillion. That's a lot of money, y'all. That's a lot of money. What I tell you is just like water. It's got to go somewhere. You know what I'm saying? And so this is just the early stages of, life-changing opportunity. And so I say all that to let you know that this is indeed a great time to start buying Bitcoin. It's an even better time to start learning how to swing trade and measure and be confident in your actions. I think it's very, very, very easy to lose money when dealing with crypto. And so that's my goal, is to make it as easy as possible to make money, right? But this is on a downturn. Like, make no mistake about it. Even on a 343, once you get that 77 under the 231, like, you net negative. So this thing has to get time to figure out what it wants to do. It also has to allow other markets, i.e. Wall Street, to stop going up as high as they've gone, because now it's a point of parity. Well, if I put my money on Wall Street, I can get 2 or 3%, versus if I put it in Bitcoin, I might lose 10, right? Nobody wants to trade that, right? And so they're still seeing Bitcoin as a much speculative, more volatile asset, whereas some of the commodities in traditional markets are not viewed as so, right? And rightly so. I mean, it's like Bitcoin. It speaks to those who are willing to listen. Might not be speaking to Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett been rich since the 60s. You know what I'm saying? Like, he ain't got no reason to change his mind about nothing. He's good. But guess what? He gonna be underground in less than 5-10 good years. So it's a new wave of faces coming around. Mark my words, my voice ain't going away no time soon. Right? So it's a new face and new money. Believe that. And crypto is here to stay, and somebody gotta be the boss. And that's my message to the good people, man. If this is your first time seeing my show, thank you for joining. I developed this methodology to equate financial waters or financial markets to open waters, and it's just like waves. One wave go up, one wave go down. Guess what? The third wave is going to be impacted, right? And so that's what we start to look at. And it's net negative at the point. We do have the small hook at 52,000. More than likely it's going to go down to, say, low 50s, high 40s. Start calling this shit like the weatherman. Low 50s, high 40s. But you do have terminal support right around 42, 39, to where if it drops there, it's getting bought up. That's the top of the hill, right? And it's deep money over here, right? Once we turn this thing off, right? Once we turn these two moving averages off, and you just look at that wave back there, that's the real money, right? And right now they're still buying it at 56. So it's like, this is a bargain for them. But what you'll see is that's going to come down, but then you got this second wave over here. So it's like, if it drops down to that low, 39, 41, that's when these guys are going to start accumulating it again, because they were happy enough to buy it the first time, and they will be happy enough to buy it back should it get that low again. A lot of people are just waiting. It's a lot of money on the sideline. So, just start to get yours in. Dollar cost average, learn to swing trade, subscribe to this channel. I'm doing a few more altcoins. I told you guys, whatever coin you want to see, just leave it in the comments. So I had 2 people, Ms. Nani Crypto. Good to see you again. TON, I think that was on like one of the profit packages I put together like a year ago. And this one, LYX. So I'll put those in an upcoming video for you guys. So if you want to see a chart, throw it in the video. The biggest thing I can let you know is that, kind of like the fatal flaw of crypto is that it's still accessible through fiat currency. A lot of people don't understand what fiat currency is, or the fact that when a dollar bill has someone else's signature on it, that it's a contract, and because it's not your name on that dollar bill, you have no rights to the relationship therewithin described. You are merely passing the buck. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got no equity in that, right? And it's literally the same thing as monopoly money, right? As long as I've been alive, I've seen the value of the dollar decrease and decrease and decrease and decrease and decrease. you know, and I ain't been alive that damn long. I'm, 30 some years young, right? To whereas crypto is the opposite, right? It goes up over time. And, that's one thing that we have going in our favor is that you don't need no oil. You don't need to bomb no third world countries. You don't need to press no red buttons and drop no bombs. Bitcoin exists and it has value because it is superior by design, right? And when every hammer or when every tool you have is a hammer, then the problem has to look like a nail. You got the biggest armed military in the world. Guess what? Every problem you see is going to have to be resolved by exercising that muscle. And our entire life, that's what we've seen proliferated through the petrodollar system. But just like Sam Cooke say, change go come. So with that being said, everybody, it's that time of the day. Signing out. Boss. Boy BK, no matter where you stay, Brazil to Bay, California, all the way back out through Germany. Good night, good morning, and good day. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for your time. Hit that thumbs up button for a player one time. Do that for me if you appreciate mine. Till we meet again, stay cryptic, y'all. Peace.
Like a boss. Like